And he finally gave up on farming and probably does some labor work somewhere in Karachi. Generations of farming lost to water. But what I didn't say yesterday is that Iqbal Solanki is not alone in this universe. If you look at the Bangladeshi farmers who wait for the water to flow, and if the water doesn't flow, then the fisherman starves and the farmer cannot farm. Same story. In Sahil, at Sahil, a woman walks about 4 miles one way to get 1 bucket of water every day. And she is to walk 4 miles because the river that flew next to her village has pulled back. And has pulled back because someone upstream has stopped the flow of the water. Every day she walks 4 miles to get 1 bucket of water to bring back to her children. This is what she did yesterday. This is what she's doing today. And this is what she would be doing tomorrow. This is not a crisis in her life. This is her life. This is her life. And the Niles and the Tigris marshes and the story of the once Aral Sea, it's the same story. It's the exact same story of Iqbal Solanki. So not only is it the story of 120 million people in Pakistan who depend upon the farmlands, but it's a global story in Africa, in Bangladesh, by the flows of Mekong, everywhere it is the same story. We look at this story either as floods or droughts. But what we don't look at it is that it's not just the story of floods or scarcity of water. It's the story of water that you do not control. The danger is not just too little water or too much water. The danger is that someone else who is not you controls the tap through which your water is going to flow. My dear friend Merali Shah, my colleague, he just showed you a graph. One day, the water flowing through Marala was 1,500 cusics. Then it became 78,000 cusics. And then it fell down to 1,500 cusics. And not one drop of rain to explain that. So the only thing that explains this phenomenon is that someone else, who is not Iqbal Solanki, has his hand on the tap that controls his water. And who pays? About 50% of our population depends upon agriculture. That's give or take 120 million people. 120 million people's livelihood depend upon this water. About a quarter of our GDP and 100% of our food security depends upon the flow of this water. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends, this is neither a crisis of climate nor a crisis of water. This is a crisis of justice. And that's how we would like the world to see it. Solanki didn't build the dams. Solanki didn't break any treaty. Solanki didn't elect the man who controls the tap. And yet it's Solanki's life that gets devastated. This is the crisis of justice. And it's not just water tragedy. It's not just the water tragedy. I would like you to note that the same neighbor that controls this water flow or claims that it controls the water flows is the third largest polluter of the world, third largest. And let's make it simple. You pollute, greenhouse gases, temperatures rise, glaciers melt, downstream flooding. So the country that has created the furnace, which is burning the skies and burning the glaciers and affecting floods downstream, is the same country that then controls the tap, controls the flow of the water. Now, how just is that? You burn, you flood, and you know what that burning and flooding means for us? 6,000 people dead over the past 15 years. 6,000 people. 6,000 people haven't died in a single war.
सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल दबाएं ताकि कोई खबर रह न जाए।